Second chance, courtesy of that goal from Mark Hughes. Our live football tonight is the FA Cup semi-final replay between Manchester United and Oldham Athletic. Main Road is the venue this time. At midday today, there was something like 12,000 tickets left unsold, 6,000 apiece at Old Trafford and Boundary Park. United put theirs on general sale and they went. Oldham couldn't because they were fearful they would end up in the wrong hands. So they've returned 5,500 with their chairman Ian Stott complaining that at £25 and £20 they were priced too high, and he later made an official complaint to the Football Association telling them they were out of touch with the harsh realities of life in the north. So here we go again, and it's got to be settled here. Only 3 clubs capable of winning this trophy this season now: Chelsea, United or Oldham. We're going to have a fabulous night here, but it is a pity that it is soured a little by that ticket controversy. Do you agree with Ian Stott, Phil Thompson?
Very much so. I think they've been out of touch with what happens up here in the northwest, not just now but for a long time. We're not sort of asking for everybody's sympathy up north, but it is reality. It's what happens up here. There's not much money going about, and you can sympathise with the Oldham people. It's cost them maybe £100 a head to get down to Wembley. The tickets are priced far too high for the first game. But quite obviously, if it had been here in the first place at Main Road, the tickets wouldn't have been that price, and it had got sold out for the both games without a shadow.
Well, let's concentrate on the football. The team news from the Manchester United dressing room, and it's good news for United supporters, is that Ryan Giggs is fit. Keane and Kanchelskis come back into the starting lineup. No place for Sharp, McClare or Dublin, but Brian Robson starts. How significant is that, Phil?
I think it's a good move by him. I think Manchester United with putting Dublin up front, I don't think it ever works. Even when Cantona plays with Hughes, he always sits off in midfield for my liking. And they have the 5 in there. They leave Hughes up front on his own because I think they are better that way. I think bringing Robbo in there, he'll sit in and compete more for the ball, because I think that's where they've been getting overrun these last few games, Manchester United. Teams have put more players in there and battled Manchester United out of it. Robbo could make that difference tonight. His
presence at Wembley on Saturday when he came on not just settled them, but it got them going too, didn't it? He is full still of desire.
He's that sort of player. He's got a great desire to still do well. That's why I don't know whether he was offered the job at Wolves or whatever. He loves it all still. But he will set a good pattern in there tonight. OK, he might be as quick as he was. Look at him.
He's not moving.
No movement at all. But he will set a pattern. You watch in the first couple of minutes. Robbo will be putting his foot in a nice, generous way, and he'll get Manchester United wound up, which I think maybe they've been lacking a little bit in the last couple of games.
Live football tonight. Manchester United against Oldham. Chelsea wait for the winners. Shell-shocked, Phil, don't they?
They do, don't they? I think everybody was. I think Oldham might have blown the chances, actually. I don't think Manchester United will let them off the hook again. I fancied them to win tonight. I think all round they've got too much, and I don't think they'll let it slip tonight, because he nearly did on Saturday.
All right, match commentators tonight, Martin Tyler and Andy Gray. Andy, what do you think? Have Oldham blown their best chance?
Well, I have to agree with Phil. I think underdogs get one opportunity in cup competitions. They don't take them, and then 9 times out of 10 they lose the replay. But Oldham will be very determined that doesn't happen always, Phil.
I'll give you one piece of trivia, that the last time Manchester United lost an FA Cup semi-final was back in 1970. A long saga of semi-final matches it was against Leeds, and the team that was waiting to know their opponents in the final 24 years ago was Chelsea. Well, we also have memories of 2 scintillating semi-finals between these 2 sides here 4 years ago, Andy. Yeah. It was very tight on Sunday. Will it open up a little bit more tonight?
I tend to think as well, Martin. If you have a semi-final where the first game is exciting and open, and you get 3-3 or 4 each or something like that, the second one tends to be very, very tight. I think, on the other hand, if you get one that's as tight as it was on Sunday, then perhaps the players here will feel they've nothing to lose. They won't want it to go to penalties. Of that, we're both sure. So perhaps this one may open up. We may get the entertaining game that Oldham and Manchester United so often produce.
Right, well, let's have a comprehensive look now at the teams. And the replay has given Alec Ferguson the chance to reinstate United's 2 special Ks, Keane and Kanchelskis. Their suspension served. Eric Cantona not yet back in the equation, of course. Brian Robson, who came on as a substitute to good effect, is in from the start tonight. But 3 of the Wembley starters lose their places: Lee Sharp and Brian McClare, who are on the bench, and Dion Dublin.
Well, this is a system that Alex Ferguson started with at the beginning of the season, Martin. It does allow Keane to break forward at will, but I think Ince and Robson will also want to do that, but they'll take turns. The main thing is Kanchelskis and Giggs. If those two, which they will do, bomb forward and get in contact with Mark Hughes, when he holds it up, this is the way that system works.
Oldham collected their share of bumps and bruises on Sunday, notably to Craig Fleming and Nick Henry, but both take their places in an unchanged side. They too have a player available again after a ban, Steve Redmond. He's named as a substitute instead of Mark Brennan. But Joe Royle not totally satisfied by Oldham's proud performance at Wembley. He wants a greater appetite in attack tonight.
Well, on the face of it, Martin, this looks 4-4-2 for me, but I'm just wondering whether Joe, having received the United side, will change. The one thing I would want you to look for tonight is the two wide men, Bernard and Hogan. I think they might just swap sides tonight, because I think with Andrei Kanchelskis returning, who always seems to do well going down this right-hand side, that Bernard is more disciplined, a defender, and it may be that he is swapped wings with Rick Holden, and that will allow Holden to get at Dennis Irwin.
Well, at one stage today, it looked as though there would be huge gaps here in the attendances because of the difficulties of selling the full allocations at both clubs. That Manchester United were able to sell all their allocation of 22,000, and as Richard Keys pointed out at the top of the programme, problems at Oldham, problems about the pricing. It has been pointed out that it's hard up here in the northwest. I think that goes, Andy, for football fans in many parts of the country.
I think it isn't just the northwest, Martin. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's snubbing the fan, really. I don't think that the FA are really in touch with what the general supporter has to go through in a season, and this is the end of it. I mean, the coffers must be bare, they really must be. I feel ever so sorry, particularly for the Oldham. Manchester United have got a big enough support to be able to cope with this, but for Oldham supporters, they've had to cough up as much as they did on Sunday, going down to London, going to Wembley, the huge prices they had to pay for tickets, and then be asked to do it again. And I couldn't agree more with Phil Thompson. But I always say, if we'd had the game here to start with, this would have been full both nights. Of that, I've no doubt.
Yes, there's a real sense of justification, really, about this replay, that eventually Manchester United and Oldham do meet at Main Road, the scene of those two marvellous matches 4 years ago. 3-3 the first game. After extra time, 2-1 the replay, settled in extra time by Mark Robbins. And of course, extra time when the two met on Sunday, so it might be a long night again tonight. And the possibility of a penalty shootout. Martin Bodnam, the referee, not in your picture at the moment, but he has experience of what was just such a semi-final. There he is. 2 years ago, he was the referee at Villa Park when Liverpool and Portsmouth needed penalties to separate them. Now there's a sight for you, the Manchester City dressing room. And if we just look above on the dressing room sign, we will see the name of Manchester United. City fans won't be too happy looking at that particular picture.
Come on up there.
Indeed, all the United players, or the majority of them, headed for the other dressing room when they came through the door out of habit. Oldham are in the away changing facilities this evening. Phil Jordan and Roy Pearson just behind him, the two linesmen. Roy has been honoured by being chosen to officiate at the World Cup as a linesman. Congratulations to him.
Well, the ref's impatient, isn't he? He wants them both out.
Here's a change of official tonight because Philip Don, who took charge at Wembley, is on European duty. Steve Bruce leading out Manchester United, and not Brian Robson. Mike Milligan, no doubt the Oldham captain. So here they come. And the players champing at the bit, understandably. Well, Manchester United seconds away from semi-final sorrow at Wembley. Oldham stopped on the very brink of a famous victory, on the very brink of reaching their first FA Cup final. Two clubs miles apart in terms of fame and finance, very close geographically, very much side by side over 2 hours of football on Sunday. When the dust settles tonight, Chelsea will know their FA Cup final opponents. The completion of this semi-final saga comes live after the break.
Let's join our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. If crowd support counts for anything, Manchester United definitely odds on, by far the greater share looking round the stadium. But Oldham came so close on Sunday. The immediate reaction of Joe Royle's players, immense frustration. But by the time they were halfway home, their mood was of real determination to finish off the job tonight if they can. Manchester United relieved, but not totally surprised, because Alec Ferguson had seen Mark Hughes strike an identical goal 3 days earlier in training. Neil Pointon, the scorer of the Oldham goal on Sunday. Throwing long onto the head, though, of Pallister. It's been a splendid day weather-wise in Manchester. Delighted to have the opportunity to say that. The sun has shone throughout. It's helped the playing surface dry out.
And Oldham have started with both wingers on opposite sides. Rick Holden has started on the right, Paul Bernard on the left. And that's a change, a tactical change from the first game. One other thing, Mark, I just wonder, will it be Craig Fleming or Richard Jobson that will pick up Mark Hughes? Fleming did such a good job for a huge part of the game on Sunday.
There were certainly lots of indications that Hughes didn't relish that confrontation. Richard Jobson played well against Dion Dublin, and indeed is in exceptional form and has been recognised by Terry Venables in that respect. Here's Ince. Giggs right on the touchline. In fact, Ince carrying the ball at him and giving Giggs something of a problem, and then Ince turns back to keep Manchester United in possession. Ryan Giggs past it after a spot of ankle trouble. Martin Bodnam, the Cornish-based referee, in control tonight. Well, with Paul Bernard, the number 11, on the left-hand side. Rick Holden on the right. They did have a spell in the first game when they switched. But at the outset here, Holden up against his old teammate Dennis Irwin. Henry. Well, sensational news from the Scottish Cup semi-final replay. Black the score off for Kilmarnock. Holden clears. Beckford, who started his career at Main Road with Manchester City. A number of connections in the Oldham camp with this particular stadium. Manchester United, of course, came here with 2 goals down to City in the lead. Had a famous victory. Roy Keane rounded off 3-2 back in November. But here's Pointon. Hughes. Really drilling it back to Giggs. Mark Hughes enjoys, you feel, being the one main man up front, even when Cantona's playing. He drops off Hughes, who shoulders so much responsibility himself. Parker concedes a corner.
Well, I know what I'd do with this, Martin, in the back of Sunday, with Peter Schmeichel dropping that important corner. If I was Rick Holden, I'd be dropping it right under the goalkeeper and getting people like Sharp and Beckford in and around him, and making it as difficult as he can for the goalkeeper to get a clean catch.
Well, Pointon made his point. He goes for it with Beckford. Cleared by Paul Parker. Keane with a header. Ince quickly in. Oldham.
That's where Oldham have got to be so careful. It sounds crazy, but from their own corners, because as soon as it was cleared, United just broke like a red wave. Players charging forward. Now, if it hadn't been for a bit of miscontrol, they really had numbers ahead of the ball.
Poynton gets it back from Fleming. Bruce with the header. Henry. Here's Keane. Francesca setting off. The space behind Poynton. Poynton made sure the ball didn't get there. And then he has to go in quickly as Keane came in. Oldham felt on the high side. There's a bit of an angry reaction here, and it's going to be a yellow card for Roy Keane. Just back from suspension, and in the bad books of the referee again.
Well, he launches into this. You can see he's high there, Roy Keane. I mean, I don't mind if people are low there, Martin, and their boot's low, and they're going for the ball. The ball's going around the ground, but look at that. That's high. That's all you can say. And there's no complaints at all about the yellow card.
Sharp. Milligan. Bernard going in. Henry. Milligan. Oldham have found a confidence against Manchester United. They, of course, are playing them for the third game in a row. But that 3-2 defeat at Old Trafford showed that they could penetrate Alec Ferguson's defence. They scored at Wembley, and even in the match that was played at Boundary Park in Manchester United's pomp midwinter, they managed a couple, although United scored 5 in reply. Parker. It's Brian Robson. Made a dart through the middle. Rolling back the years. Here he is, still well forward, beaten to it by the very quick Fleming.
With the three in midfield, really, Nick Henry and Mike Milligan have got a big job on tonight, Martin, against Ince and Keane and Robson. But what Paul Bernard, I think, will be asked to do is tuck in whenever he can. Certainly when the ball's on Oldham's right, Bernard will tuck in. But if Manchester United are aware, and we saw Paul Ince release Paul Parker, and he can do that at will.
Graham Sharp just doing maybe one of the tricks you taught him, Andy, jumping a bit early and confusing defenders. He didn't get the free kick that often accrues in his favour that time.
Now, people watch that, might be watching at home and thinking he's timed his jump all wrong. But it is a fascinating thing to do, because as soon as you get between the ball and the centre-back, and he loses sight of it, then it could be anybody's.
That was Jobson, the Oldham centre-back, coming in. Well, for all the talent at United's disposal, for all the thrilling football they've played, no trophies as yet. And of course, since their scare on Sunday, they've now got Blackburn breathing right down their necks in the Premiership. Hughes, Keane. He's here for the young Scot Paul Bernard. Beckford. Darren Beckford was relatively quiet at Wembley. He might feel he's got a bit more to offer this semi-final. Here he is. Sharp. Manchester United know all about him, with the succession of goals he scored against them down the years, 15 in total. Hughes. Fleming could get to the ball, but nudged Hughes as well. So that particular contest certainly renewed.
And that's why this system works for Manchester United, because of Mark Hughes, because of his strength at holding people off. And if he doesn't link up play, Martin, inevitably defenders are giving free kicks away.
Keane, Francescus. Ross starting again for the first time for 3 months. It's Irwin. back. Milligan was one of them. Ince took him on and got past him, plays it wide to Kanchelskis. Ross was a bit behind those lining up in the centre wearing red. Robson. And in it goes from Dennis Irwin. The former Oldham player has scored here in the 10th minute. And Manchester United have struck early in the replay.
And it's all down to the awareness of Irwin and Robson. He plays it, Rick Holding's caught. He's a yard short and getting back with Irwin. Robson just rolls it into his path, takes it on his chest, and the rest is, look at Rick Holding. Fatally, he allows Dennis Irwin a yard. And I don't care if he's a full-back, Dennis Irwin. He's got the quality to stick those away, and he did it very well.
Well, the player who owes his career really to Oldham Athletic, they took him on a free transfer from Leeds and built him into the established international that Manchester United bought following the Oldham Cup run where the two sides met 4 years ago. He's caused great distress to his former club here, but great joy for Manchester United.
It's a lovely giving goal, wasn't it, man? Super football.
Reminiscent of Manchester United in a better groove earlier in the season than they have been recently. Just 2 wins in the last 7 games coming into tonight. Much has been said about the recent absence of Cantona, but it was a classy pass from Brian Robson. And Cantona would have been proud of Parker's mistake. Beckford. United survived to Parker's extreme relief.
Well, that's a chance, isn't it? Parker's delighted. I don't know if he looks, he doesn't seem to. But Beckford, this shows you when you really need 2 feet. Look how desperate he was to get it onto his right foot. He really needed just to screw that across goal early with his left foot.
Jobson coming in after Sharp had got the first header. It's another corner.
That was threatening. This is Jobson to a tee, coming in late, and I think it's Pallister, is it, who gets himself near there. Gary Pallister, who's the one at the back post, and a little help from Dennis Irwin. But Jobson is a threat when he attacks those flip-ons.
So often high-quality corners from Rick Holden. That one bends almost into the net itself. Schmeichel got to it. Holden onto his right foot this time, back onto the left. And it's passed a bit too high for Paul Bernard by the near post. Jobson. Sharp can guide it down. Neil Poynton coming in. Blocked by Ince. And a more assured back pass than Parker's by Robson, but nothing assured about Schmeichel's kick. Sharp. Beckford to challenge the goalkeeper. But that's one of Schmeichel's strengths, the ability to use the ball so quickly from his hands, and Kanchelskis was closed down quickly there by Oldham.
Smashing response from Oldham, no, Martin. They needed that after conceding a goal. But they'd then been asked to defend for any type of long periods, and perhaps confidence may have drained away. But that sustained little spell would have given them a bit of confidence and belief that they can get back into this game.
Well, it will be a test of Oldham's resolve now. Certainly their supporters, as we saw at the start, really still desperately saddened by the near miss at Wembley. The players have had to be more positive, but here they are, already a goal behind. Kanchelskis threatening. Henry clears. Well, they said that Oldham feel that they can score against Manchester United. Now they've got to prove their point.
Well, we've had 13 minutes. I can't remember Ryan Giggs having a kick of the ball as well.
It's really being asked to play very wide with the 3 narrowish in midfield. Now the flag is up against him.
Let's have a look at the goal again, Martin, because it's all about you give it, and then the person who's marking you, look, Rick Holden looks at the ball, and that's the moment when he loses it. Robson's into his path, perfect height for him to chest down and to take perfectly on the volley.
A goal, a player who 4 years ago was representing Oldham against Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final replay. Pointer. Ince, who has heard good news since the weekend that he won't have a one-match suspension after that booking at Wembley. Kanchelskis. He's seen a hole he can move into to go for goal! How about that? He was going across the face of the penalty area till he saw some space. He found it, and he found a shot that makes it 2-0.
Well, normally you're saying, go on, son, across you go, across you go. But the one person just making the right back makes a mistake, in my opinion, Martin, as he shows him too much of a gap. He's not tucked in near enough. He's too far out of the way. That invited the shot. And to be honest, Kanchelskis, he won't hit many with his left foot better than that. He really won't. What a dream start for Alex Ferguson's side.
2 up in 15 minutes. United have never lost a semi-final under Alex Ferguson. And it doesn't look at this stage as though they're going to start now.
Well, we only saw that goal from the moment Kanchelskis picked the ball up, Martin, but what went before it was there to admire. Magical ball up to Mark Hughes, who linked immediately with Paul Ince, his forward run. And from there, Oldham was struggling.
Keane. Hughes.
But I just felt the full-back there, Martin. He was so concerned with Giggs getting the ball that he showed Kanchelskis just too much space, where he should have been inviting the pass wide, because that's where the least danger was.
But so often that when Andrei Kanchelskis raids down the right-hand side, you think of his right foot, but a terrific effort with the left. This is gone, and Oldham have a free kick.
Well, they can't lose another one, Mark. It's as simple as that. 15 minutes gone and 2 down. Not the start Joe Roy would have wanted against this side. They look up for it, Manchester United. Perhaps in certain games in recent weeks that maybe have looked a little jaded, but they look bang at it tonight.
Oldham doesn't get it deep enough. Kanchelskis half clears, maybe more than that, because Hughes is going to tussle forward, and he does. And steers a header for Kanchelskis to collect. And zip on, past Poynton. Hughes is there.
Well, we said semi-finals aren't often the same. If you get a replay, certainly this is proving so. Oldham have to go forward. They have to even take chances this early, Martin, to get back in the game. And as we've seen already, they're always liable to be caught in a fast break, particularly from that man.
Well, he got the second, but in a way, perhaps it was the first goal that opened it up, something that didn't happen in the first match, where the sides got locked into their systems, and the defenders had a good day. It was very windy at Wembley as well. We should point that out in defence of the lack of spectacle. But maybe semi-finals just aren't meant to be played at Wembley. Henry, it's Robson, who doesn't flinch, even at the age of 37. At that type of incident.
I don't think he knows the meaning of that word, does he? It's not in his vocabulary.
Robson. Hughes. And Martin Bodnam, even though Manchester United kept the ball, decided that Craig Fleming is dishing out too much in the direction of Mark Hughes.
I have to say, when I saw this one, I wasn't so sure about it, Mark. I didn't think Fleming did an awful lot wrong. I thought he got a bit on the ball, in fact. And it's just impetus of him moving forward was the thing that knocked him over. But the referee clamping down very early. I tell you, as a striker, Mark Hughes will be happy about that.
Milligan. Somehow Oldham to try and, first of all, stem the tide. Keane gets his cross in. Kanchelskis was hurt by a late challenge just before that. He's back on his feet now. Here's Keane. Milligan. Bruce alongside Sharp, Beckford.
Very hard ahead at the moment, Manchester United players. All over the field. Anything that's dropping, any 50-50s, they're winning them all. I'm no surprise that he's in the thick of most of it.
Well, he's the governor, isn't he? In terms of just steering players into position. Alex Ferguson rationing Brian Robson's appearances this season. But he still has something to offer, even though if United do win the FA Cup, it looks as though Steve Bruce this time, rather than the captain who's collected it 3 times before, will be first up the steps. Ince put in by Hughes. Oh, Robson saved by Hallworth, blocked by Bernard from Giggs' follow-up.
Well, Bernard's happy. Sorry, Martin. Bernard's happy that was blocked, I tell you, because he was the one caught ball watching from another Paul Ince run this time. This formation really has caused them problems. The runners from midfield.
When Ince took it, didn't quite go on like a straight line towards goal. He might have been able to score himself had he not checked for half a second. It was enough to get Oldham back to him for a moment, although other shots came in.
Yeah, I thought like you would go straight, but he went across onto his left foot. And by doing that, it just allowed 1 or 2 defenders to get in the way. But it still took a very good save from John Hallworth to stop Brian Robson getting his name on the score sheet.
Pointed. Well, Martin Bodnam, I'm sure Kanchelskis clipped Poynton's ankle then, but the referee much closer than we were.
I thought this was a banker free kick. The leg just goes up. It goes down late, but I thought, like you, it was a free kick. It lets him another look at this wonderful run. Cross he goes. You see the fullback, he's too far. And that's when Kanchelskis spots it. And you have to give Andrei Kanchelskis credit for being aware. But not only that, from running away from goal to wrap your foot round it, and then get such power and accuracy back across goal. Oh, well, it's there for all to admire.
You just wonder whether Kanchelskis will get his World Cup future sorted out. Certainly the World Cup deserves a player of his ability. He's in dispute with the current coach of Russia, but not in dispute with the current manager of Manchester United.
So much so, Martin, I suppose, that of the 3 talented wide men, Sharp, Giggs and Kanchelskis, certainly for the second part of the season, I bet you Andrei Kanchelskis was the first one of those 3 on his team sheet every week. Such has been his performances this season.
Giggs hasn't really made a great impact on the game so far. They haven't needed him, in truth.
They're saving him, Martin, they're saving him. But Joe's had to change it, Joe Royal's side, and they have. They've moved Bernard into the centre of midfield area to take Paul Ince. Looks like Mike Milligan's got himself around Brian Robson. And that would leave Nicky Henry to take Roy Keane.
Well, Robson is past Milligan. On his stronger side, was trying to bend one then.
We wondered if Joe would change his formation at the start, Mark. They didn't. And it's a bit like, you know, shutting the gate after the horse has bolted.
Jobson and get a free kick then. He's got the ball back from Giggs. He quickly puts it back to Irwin. Giggs got there first. Irwin is still there. Hughes coming to the near post. It's Hughes.
Well done, Craig Fleming. Was that again? Lovely football from Manchester United there. The build-up, the back-up from Dennis Irwin, eager to get there, and a wonderful run across the face from Mark Hughes. I think Fleming did just enough to put Mark Hughes off this. It was a very powerful run in there.
Oldham arrived at this stage as a rare Premiership scourge of Division 1 clubs. Derby, Stoke, Barnsley and Bolton all fell to them. But they are finding opponents of a different calibre in Manchester United back on song. Jobson. Irwin and Kanchelskis, the two scorers. With the sort of flick that Alec Ferguson won't mind seeing, with 2 goals safely banked, but might not have been too happy if it had been 0-0. Didn't come off.
He'd be frustrated there's so little of the ball.
Henry really got in amongst Manchester United, as Oldham did collectively at Wembley. Able to sustain that controlled, aggressive approach here. Kanchelskis really bursting to keep the ball in, and he failed right at the last.
Couldn't have been much in it.
Are you going to argue with a World Cup linesman like Roy Pearson?
No, we don't know.
You've never done that, have you?
I was trying to blink, keep up with Andrew Kanchelskis. I just saw a red blur going along the line.
Jobson. Really good. And behind Pallister, he stretched the long leg to hook the ball away. Mulligan went in again. Now Poynton. No width on either side for Oldham. And Bruce shepherds the ball behind, although Beckford wasn't giving it up easily. Such a local game that a number of the Oldham players made their way to the ground, didn't go to Boundary Park to join up with the team coach. Hughes. Here's Parker. Across comes Jobson. Sharp. Gets it down well. Beckford. Took too long. Just don't get even breathing time against Manchester United in this mood. Parker.
You're right there, Mark. No time to take a touch or two on it and then have a look round.
Oldham, who've been much more satisfied with their own form over the last couple of months, certainly given them a real chance of Premiership salvation. It's the FA Cup final for Oldham is looking a long way away at the moment. Robson lets fly. We mention Eric Cantona because he's here and we can see him in the crowd, and not, as we have been doing, because Manchester United are particularly missing him out on the pitch.
Well, not tonight. I think that's down to the system that the manager, and top marks to Alex Ferguson, that the manager's put out tonight.
The player's choice as their player of the year. the Frenchman. Hallworth just had enough of the ball to carry into the penalty area. Kanchelskis apologised if he'd caught the goalkeeper by following through. He was entitled to go for the ball. Fleming. By Bruce, who of course was one of the Manchester United players who took part in the cup success 4 years ago. Same central defensive partnership, of course, now as then, Bruce and Pallister. Manchester United ahead on all counts at the moment. There's a real show of spirit from Oldham between the two goals, but since it's gone 2-0, they've been able to threaten. And all the while, the prospect of more from Manchester United. Kanchelskis. Ince. Hughes, the ball sat up too much for him, even with his technical ability.
And there are one or two Oldham fans and players around thinking, why couldn't you have done that on Sunday?
Coming up, live football this weekend on Sky 1. We see Manchester United again at Selhurst Park in the FA Carling Premiership. And how will Tottenham fare? Also on Sky 1, our Super Sunday game at Elland Road. Desperate for points at the bottom of the Premiership. No progress for Holden. Makin turned quickly. Manchester lad Chris Makin in his first season in the Oldham side. Beckford. Holden. Sharp. Oh, Pallister was evading everything at that, including an arm. Real scrum in there. Comes for Holden. He thinks it should be a corner, or maybe they're just going back to the earlier Pallister problem.
I think they're looking at handball on 2 counts. That's a great block from Steve Bruce. So there's an example of a defender dying for the cause. It was that. He threw himself right at it, but it kind of breaks up there. I think they'll give it for a handball offence. Then Pallister, but it broke to Holden, and he chokes his shot a little bit across goal. And when he needed a little break, it wasn't there for them. This is the first one. It bounces awkwardly, and does it hit his arm? I'm not so sure about that one, in all honesty.
Just a little indication of the problem that might be able to cause Manchester United. It's a key stage now. If they were to go 3 goals adrift, then the cup run will be over for them, surely. Manchester United getting joy at the main road end where they scored 3 against Manchester City. And a superb second half showing. The first half that's caught the eye here, but Beckford! And Graham Sharp, who put the ball through, turns away in disappointment.
He's unlucky, Darren Beckford, because I think it's about a foot too far. He may have wanted 2 touches here, but you can see he was always stretching. And by taking it first time, he really couldn't get the power in it. Because he's on the stretch, to really trouble the goalkeeper too much.
A little resurgence from Oldham.
A couple of promising moments, but good awareness from Graham Sharp there to spot Beckford.
Who's accustomed, Sharp, of course, to success in semi-finals. Played in 4 FA Cup finals with Everton. And has found real fulfilment in this competition. Allworth with a long kick. Steered down by Robson. Henry. Pointon. Sharp to the left. Oldham coming into the centre to join Beckford. Challenge was beaten off at source by Steve Bruce. Pointon. Armstrong was flagging. Oldham only just above the relegation zone. They've got a big match at home to West Ham on Saturday, then they're at home to Tottenham, a rearranged game a week tonight. They also are at home to Sheffield United. Key games in their league calendar, which look like assuming total priority unless there's a big shift in the balance of power here in the semi-final replay of the FA Cup. Key. Oldham in problems of their own making. They get out of jail in terms of getting a goal kick. Well, where are they watching from?
Someone's attic.
Again, dispossessed by Parker. Again, United swarming around Oldham. He was making a run. Bruce waiting for it. Ball, I think, by Mark Hughes, that the decision has been given for. As he tried to take the ball on his chest, just scoop the arms alongside. Jobson. Sharp, little flick for Bernard, now very much a central midfield player, which is his preferred position. Henry. Bernard normally not getting a chance to play there because of the consistency of Milligan and Henry. When fit, we should point out that Nick Henry missed 4.5 months of this season with a broken bone in a foot. Incidentally, the last goal he scored won the Manchester United the championship when Oldham went to Villa Park a year ago. On by Key. It's Hughes not quite coming off, but Geeks has retrieved it. Robson. Back to Bruce. Now to Parker. United give it away rather easily to Pointon. Beckford.
But win it back again very quickly, don't they?
There have been so many upsets in this season's FA Cup. Perhaps it was time for form in terms of league status to show in the semi-finals. It happened on Saturday. And so far here tonight, although Oldham gave such a good account of themselves when they first squared up to United on Sunday. But the team that tops the Premiership looking a degree or two better than the side that's struggling to stay in the division. It's Hughes. On the run is Roy Keane from Kanchelskis has got to worry about being offside here. He's made his move legally enough. It's his cross straight at Hallward.
Collins wasn't too happy with that delivery. He had made a very good run into the box.
Alistair's header only goes to Sharp. He's trying to just thread the ball across for Rick Holden. Brian Robson had read the danger signs. But the back pass ruled to have crossed the goal line. It's a corner.
Well, he'll take a bad back pass there, Martin, because of what he did beforehand. And you can see he's just trying to roll it back, and just a little bit too comfortable probably, Brian, but it was very important. He was back in his own box there as Sharp tried to release Rick Holden.
Oldham needs something. And Poynton has given it to them. Neil Poynton again. 5 minutes before half-time. 2-1.
And what a big goal this might prove to be. In all honesty, since 2-0, Martin have done very well. And the man who scored such a precious goal on Sunday is there again at the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for anything that drops down. And this time he only needs a touch, because the goalkeeper's committed himself to diving for it. And only the slightest touch is needed here from Neil Poynton as it drops down there. Beckford's the one who manages to keep it in. And the left foot of Poynton stretches out. That's all that's needed to get Oldham back into this game.
How much will that rock Manchester United back? Here's Kanchelskis. Neil Poynton with only 2 goals this season, and they both come in FA Cup semi-finals. Was that ball fully over the line from Robson's back pass? Manchester United might be wondering. Corner was given as Schmeichel hacked the ball away, he thought, to safety. Oldham scored from the corner.
Well, they might argue over it, won't they? If
Manchester United, would they?
Well, they might if Oldham get another. But they needed that. I don't know, man. Before that goal, I just felt that Oldham said they were threatening, but was it because United had just taken their foot off the throttle a little bit and were maybe cruising a little bit at 2-0? Now we'll see if they can go back up a gear, because I've got that opinion that if Oldham did score, then United were maybe capable of just stepping up a gear again and getting another.
Well, for the majority of the opening 40 minutes, it looked as though we were going to get an exhibition here. Now we've got a match again.
Big goal. There's a big goal just before half-time.
Steered on admirably by Hughes to Kanchelskis. United wanting to have another save quickly. Kanchelskis stuck away by the left boot of Richard Jobson. Poynton. Room here for Oldham. Suddenly they're a team inspired. Graham Sharp. Beckford coming in. Up he goes!
Well, that's a chance. That is a chance. I tell you what, if the roles had been reversed, that had been Sharp heading that cross from Beckford, well, maybe 2-2 at the moment. Because this is a peach of a cross, it really is. He misses everybody out. He puts it right on Beckford's head. He's, what, 9 yards out? And I have to say it's a pretty poor header from a cross of that quality.
Well, in trying to angle it down, as the coaching manuals say you should, he angled it down too much and it rather plopped into the arms of Schmeichel. United had been almost cruising. Now they've got to find their fire again. All credit to Oldham, who maintained their ambition. Not just the disappointment of losing the 2 goals here, but that would have brought right to the forefront of their minds how close they came on Sunday to beating Manchester United. But here's Ryan Giggs, been on the fringe for much of the first half. Fleming is there in front of Hughes, bulleting away the header. Ince, Roy Keane. Keeping it going to Kanchelskis. A bit of a miscue by Fleming, headed back towards him by Keane.
And no matter what happens now, then Oldham have got to keep this score line at 2-1 or better from half-time. They daren't lose one now, Martin, after clawing their way back into the game.
Well, we've said they felt they could score against Manchester United. It's confidence that's come through this sequence of games against them recently. Here it is.
4 games, this now makes 5. The last 5 games that Oldham have played, Manchester United have scored against them. They had that belief. The one doubt was could they keep them out at the other end, of course. They've not been able to do that, but we have a game on.
Kanchelskis, too quick for Poynton. Ince is up with him. Kanchelskis still looking for space, looking for support. He's got it in Ryan Giggs. It hits Milligan. United fans claim a handball. Giggs does as well. It didn't happen for Manchester United and Kanchelskis in particular.
Well, that might just be the moment that decided the game. Because had they gone 3-1 up, then I feel the game would have been over, Martin. But Andre Kanchelskis, I give Jobson credit, he held him up. But what Kanchelskis didn't do was deliver the pass where Giggs wanted, on his left. You see how Ryan was reluctant to take it with his right foot, but took 2 touches, that allowed Macon to get over and get a tackle in, and that was crucial. And Oldham survived.
Well, is it unthinkable? Manchester United, who took a 2-goal lead away from Manchester City here, are they going to lose a 2-goal lead at Main Road tonight? That's the fascination of it all. It's a sparkling semi-final replay. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. All this and England winning the Test match as well. Parker. Kanchelskis, Keane, important, vital, crucial for Oldham not to concede a goal here. They're at half-time in much better shape than they would have imagined after Dennis Irwin, their old pal, has given them the lead, and Andre Kanchelskis has struck a super second. But Neil Poynton again, just as he did at Wembley, popping up with a vital goal. So much more to come at Main Road at half-time in the semi-final replay. 2-1 to Manchester United.
All of a sudden, Phil, it burst into life in the last 10 minutes of that half.
Yeah, I think so. I think Manchester United had it too easy. They started off really well, they were up for it, they were hungry, Robbo was clattering in as we thought, solid at the back. I think it all got too easy for them.
Opening goal was a beauty, wasn't it?
It was a tremendous goal, great bit of movement as we've seen from Manchester United all season. It's movements off the ball and everything. You think sometimes you're looking wide here, like Ryan's just moving out of the way, he's taking the full-back with him. He's left space in there. It's a great ball from him. If he delays it any longer, and that fella can strike a ball with the best.
And didn't he just?
He does, he keeps his head, as you see, he's a cool lad anyway. He knows what he's doing, Robbo knows what he's like. He loves to have a pot at goal. And it's a great little ball. Just flicked it up there, so it's hard for people to get in the way, get a leg to it. Don't forget it's only up there, but you see his body shape when he's hitting it. Tremendous goal.
And Andre Kanchelskis got the second goal, and at 2-0, as you say, Manchester United were cruising, but Alex Ferguson's team selection more than justified, isn't it? Robson's made the first, Kanchelskis recalled here, he's got the second.
I think the look in here, I think everybody's run away. Look at the gap there. Again, the fullback was thinking about Ryan Giggs. And this is where I think it's a tremendous shot. He's not blasted that ball, he's just got his foot behind it and he's clipped it. Because he's not necessarily very good with his left foot. But the fullback stayed wide. And I think this is where Alex Ferguson's gone for the 5 across the middle and Mark Hughes up front on his own. And Giggs, although he's not getting many touches, he's keeping that fullback out there. He's got to realise that's the danger area in there. He should be tucked in and let the ball go out to Giggs and then take it on from there.
Well, Oldham scored from a corner, but let's try and tidy up whether they should have had one. Was the back pass from Brian Robson over the line?
I think if this game was 0-0, Robbo would have kicked that into the stands. There's a time and a place for everything. And that ball's gone over the line.
It has, in your opinion?
So, in my opinion. Instead of being 0-0, Robbo wouldn't have took any chances. He'd have put it further down the line. But because it's 2-0, and really they're overrunning. He'd overrun them for a certain time, but all credit to Oldham. They've come back. top marks to them.
Well, Neil Poynton scored on Saturday, and he's got them back in it here. Not the prettiest of goals, but my word, how important.
Tremendous. It's just that little touch, isn't it? Like, you always look for sort of great strikes in the box and everything, but you just need a little, but it's like a header sometimes. You don't need to go for a goal, you just need to head some little things down, and it can cause all sorts of problems. And Poynton's alive and alert. He's been like that all evening.
We've got a second half on our hands,
Well,
haven't
that's
we?
it. It's great, isn't it? It's really livened the game up anyway. I still think United have got too much class to lose it, but it's great. Oldham have done great to get back into the game, and I'm really looking forward to the second half.
And they must, as we've heard from Andy and Martin, they came into the match with a belief they could score. They've got to have a go at it now, haven't they?
I think so. Obviously, it looked as though they were a little bit in awe, and to be fair to them, they were being overrun by Manchester United. They were asking all the questions, and they looked as though they'd step back. There was a few people found wanting, and all of a sudden they had this belief in themselves. Hey, well, let's give it a go. And all of a sudden everything started opening for them. Beckford Sharp has been magnificent in the first half. He's rallied them, he's ran himself into the ground, and basically they're in with a shout.
Chelsea are waiting for the winners. Manchester United are in the driving seat here at Main Road, but they are not in the final yet. Sharp reminder from Neil Poynton on half-time, just how quickly it can change. What have we got coming up in the second half? Before we get going again here with Manchester United leading 2-1, Andy's got an angle on their second goal. Andy.
Yes, thanks, Richard. I think we should admire first and foremost the build-up, and if we run through from when the ball's played up there. Now, if we could just hold that there in the layoff. Now, the first thing that you need to do is this man here, forward midfield runner, making that run into that hole. I'm talked about this guy here, Mark Hughes, been one of the best with his back to goal. He just drops the ball in there, and from this moment, then Manchester United are up. And if we take it from there, they're off and running. Now suddenly this man's got a problem, hasn't he? He's worried about Kanchelskis, he's worried about the ball going there. He does that now. What he wants to do, if we hold it there, what he does ideally wants to do, and I couldn't agree more, is send him in here. And Kanchelskis most definitely is a danger going down that way. So if you run it on from there, this is what happens. Look across, plenty blue jerseys there. I'll send them on. Great, no danger. Send them on, no danger. No danger there. Now, hold it there. Just a little bit further. A little bit further, please. There, hold it. Now, this is where it's gone wrong for them, is the full back there. If he's got himself in an area there, even there, anywhere along there, and touch with Richard Jobson, then the only way Andrew Kanchelskis can score is by beating him. Now, he wants the ball really to be going that way, because once it's gone there, then players can come across, players can come across, players can come across, and Ryan Giggs has to do it all again. So it's just a piece of bad positioning that's allowed Kanchelskis to dart in there. And to be fair, what they don't have, they're not really expecting that. And had that been a player of less quality and confidence, then perhaps he might not have scored.
Thanks, Andy. They weren't expecting that either, Phil, because it was on his left side, I would have thought.
Well, that's it. I think everybody's starting to sort of knock off. They're not live and alert. He's coming across there, as Andy says. They're doing the right thing, sending him there, left-footed. Then they all knock off. They're all leaving it to one another. But I think the basic thing is Giggs has took up a good position. That's what a lot of people will basically think. And he's not getting many kicks. But what he's doing is great for the team, because he's basically pulling their defence out. Even Mark Hughes up there, put big gaps alongside him.
Well, at 2-0, they had a right maybe to think it had gone away from them. But at 2-1, Oldham are in with a real shout here, aren't they?
I think they're with a chance, and they deserve it, because they could have easily have laid down and sort of let Manchester United run all over them. But they've took it upon them, and they've had a go. There's a couple of them who sort of basically haven't. I think Graham Sharp's been great. He's led the line really well. He's having a go all the time, because Bruce and Pallister are in fine form, and it's took the likes of Sharpie with his experience to have a go. And the rest of them have rallied behind him, I believe.
Should it go 2-2, who would you fancy then?
I still think Manchester United have got too much for them. I really do. Sounds great, this coming from me, doesn't it?
Scouser, yes, it does. They'll never forgive you. Main Road's the venue, 2-1 to Manchester United for a place in the final against Chelsea. Here's Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Oldham first out. Perhaps no surprise in that, wanting to pick it up where they left off, and maybe feeling that the psychological side of things, which of course is so often important in knockout football, things might just be turning their way. Neil Poynton's goal looked as though it would win the day for them at Wembley. What it's done here is just give them a foothold
just thinking of Neil Point, wasn't he telling us downstairs, Dave Sharp, that his dad, Neil Poynton's dad, had a bet on him to score first goal at Wembley, and his dad went to the bookmakers after it to be told, sorry pal, we only pay out in 90 minutes.
That's absolutely right.
Joker.
28 to 1 he was. And he's 25 to 1 today. Well, he didn't get the first goal today. That was...
He obviously frightened the bookmakers though, Martin. Reduced these odds dramatically.
So the club that has won the FA Cup 7 times prepare to start the second half against the side who's looking to get into the final for the first time in their 99-year history. To take the free kick, by Mark Hughes. And Robson was covered by Nicky Henry. Three up for Oldham. And the long ball, Sharp, Beckford and Holden almost operating as a unit then, with three behind in midfield. One of whom, of course, is Milligan. Macon. Still occupied by Giggs. Picked on by Bernard. Graham Sharp steals a yard on Pallister here. He's running out of room. Ball rolls up Pallister. And his clearance only goes to Bernard, who panics rather. Still Oldham might fashion something. And it's Neil Poynton looking to attack again from left back. Breaks for Kanchelskis. Macon, who's moved to fill in the centre. Sharp, who caused the original problem. Pallister, most unlike him, with a poor clearance. And Paul Bernard might have made more of what came his way.
Just a touch of uncertainty in there, wasn't there?
United's throw. It's out. That's definitely out. More uncertainty from Alec Ferguson's players. Let's get a quick word from Nick Collins. Nick.
Go for it is the message from the Oldham dressing room. The players, according to Joe Royle, very, very positive at half-time. The odds against a 3-2 win for Oldham, by the way, 50 to 1.
Bernard certainly going for it. Oh, Beckford had turned his back at the crucial moment.
I tell you what, had that been played in rather than fired in, I mean, that was certainly the angle to be playing the ball down the left side of Darren Beckford, but there was too much pace on it for him to have done anything with it. But they started very positively indeed.
Hughes again exhibiting that phenomenal strength that he has. Defenders who are normally stern competitors look so lightweight alongside him. Parker, it's an offside here against Kanchelskis. The referee doesn't want to enforce it. Hughes. Parker. Watson alongside Mark Hughes, but not responsible for Hughes going down. Although Hughes takes time out to have a brief word with the linesman.
I think this is an occasion when Mark Hughes tries to use his body weight just there, and what Richard Johnson does is he steps away. And that's the reason that Mark Hughes went to the ground. Nothing to do with a challenge from Jobson.
Macon. Forward for Rick Holden. Pallister, nicely done. Great measure of control defensively. United have shown so far in the start of the second half. Headed back by Fleming. Parker. Now Robson. Hit by Fleming, bobbled across straight to Dennis Irwin. Milligan.
They're winning more, Mark, aren't they? The midfield area in particular. We talked about winning bits in the second ball. They didn't win enough of them, but look now, suddenly they're picking up their fair share, and more than that.
Bernard picking up a stray header by Pallister. Here's Bernard again. Good tackle by Ince. Jobson low, going forward with plenty of ambition. And the ball onto the left-hand side. Jobson was being chased by Mark Hughes and maybe heard the thump of the hooves, so to speak.
That's exactly
panicked him into a shot.
He's ambitious. I mean, Richard Johnson from there, very ambitious. But there was a ball on, Neil Poynton. Fired up with that goal he got the first half, as well as the one from Sunderland, bombing forward.
Actually, Neil Poynton, when he arrived here, was teasing Tony Book of the Manchester City coaching staff, complaining that he never was allowed to go forward at set pieces when he was a City player. He's shown them again tonight what they missed out, pardon me.
Well, it's a definite change in the game. You have to say, Oldham are winning far more. The one thing they maybe didn't do early on is compete. But once they've got to terms with the formation, and Joe's been brave enough to change his formation very early on. I've always seen that we're 2-0 down when that happened.
Oldham takes, sharp. Milligan going in. Good work by Ince again to get the ball out of harm's way. One factor that perhaps we should point out in terms of fatigue, Joe Royal's team have played 10 games less than Manchester United this season. Irwin. Robson, of course, hasn't played much at all and might find going a bit harder in the second half. United with Parker. Robson. Keeping it simple to Kanchelskis. Robson again. Key. Parker. Goes down by Henry. Kanchelskis. Parker. Well, Oldham were wondering whether there might have been an offside. Macon and Hallworth yelling at the linesman. But the cross came in and United were entitled to attack it.
Well, there's an offside, you can see it quite clearly there.
Mark Hughes in the middle. Giggs to take the first Manchester United corner. Paul Ince, who's making a habit of headers.
A great effort on Sunday. I'll tell you what, if this is nestled in the top corner, then that refusal of the linesman to stick up his flag for an offside, I'll tell you what, there've been a few blue shirts round him.
Bruce. Hughes to chase again, running first to it, and he had a head start as well. Kanchelskis, Hughes is out of the penalty area at the moment, making his way towards it now. Ball with Parker, and now Robson, now Hughes. A spin, carrying it behind for the goal kick.
But that's the area for them, Martin, if they're going to get out, and there's big gaps on that right side. Paul Parker. If Darren Beckford in particular, I wouldn't expect Graham Sharp to be chasing away back there at his age. He'll save his energy for going forward, but Darren Beckford really has got a job on, and when they lose the ball, of getting around Paul Parker, because if he doesn't, they can release him down that side at will, and I think they will try and do that.
Oldham. Sharp. Bernard to take it on here against Irwin. Macon. Well, Ince is not happy with that. It was not an easy decision to give. And it may be. Manchester United certainly feel that the linesman got it wrong.
Well, he did. It's as simple as that, man. I was right over the top of that there, and it was certainly a Manchester United throw.
Owen gets it back quickly. Hughes. Kanchelskis. Parker giving him an avenue on the right-hand side. Kanchelskis is onside. And Poynton is disappointed about that. But Kanchelskis roars past him. Can he cut it back here? He does for Mark Hughes. But Craig Fleming was where Oldham needed him to be.
Not that. This is great awareness from Kanchelskis. Look at all the blue shirts. He knows he can't find a way through.
Giggs with the corner. Sharp heads it away.
But they were looking at that linesman again, Mark, whether Andrei Kanchelskis was offside from the initial pass. Certainly the Oldham players felt so.
And Neil Poynton, I think, has instructions to push tight up on his man. He had some difficulties late in the first game when Ryan Giggs switched to the right-hand side. And he's got Kanchelskis and all that entails to deal with. Here is the man. Shooting. Skimming one, not too far away.
Well, they didn't press him. They invited the shot. They're a little bit slow here in pushing people out. He's able to look, he takes a touch, nudges it forward, no one breaks. They go and put him under pressure, but John Hall was always confident it was going wide.
Beckford. Oldham. Back to Peter Schmeichel. Schmeichel, who was sent off in the quarter-final against Charlton. Sharp. That's a good use. A fine ball from Keane. Kanchelskis again. Hughes going in, and this time it was Jobson. Brilliant defending. Manchester United come again. Signs that they're recapturing the rhythm of the first half. Making misjudges. Giggs makes a better angle for himself, and Hallworth hangs on.
Well, when you see him hit them like that with his right foot, it just makes you wonder why he didn't do that in the first half when that chance presented itself on his right side. Making wants it to go left, Tommy's inside, and he really hits this very well indeed. But credit the goalkeeper, got everything behind it.
Play on, says the linesman, and it's away from Bernard, who was very, very late. He's going to be booked for that.
Yeah, well, he will be booked. There's no danger. There's no other decision the referee can make. Oh, Bernard will be happy. Sorry, Mark, there were one or two blue shots around him as well there. Otherwise, the colour might have been red.
Just before that, John Hallworth had staked the claim for the only English-born goalkeeper in these semi-finals. With a fine save from Ryan Giggs. Irwin on the outside for Giggs. Off the head of Fleming. Where's that going to drop? It's behind for a corner.
Good free kick, worked it very well. But Ryan Giggs did what so many people do, hit the man at the near post. So important you miss him out. But they've upped a gear, Manchester United.
Giggs to take the corner. Hallworth comes with both fists. Drops for Kanchelskis towards Giggs, who is coming back. Parker. Oldham began the second half the better of the two sides. Buoyed, of course, by scoring just before half-time.
Well, that's on the roof, that. Make up for it, Martin. I'll keep the place rolling here.
I think it might already have gone somewhere. Quite a souvenir for somebody waiting outside the ground. Pointed. Well, he was a bit unlucky in having miskicked it. It could have gone to Sharp. It could have gone to Beckford.
No reason why he shouldn't hit this. I mean, he's got 2 in the semi-final already. Why not get himself a trio of goals? He drops very invitingly. I mean, he's taken on a real difficult task.
His previous goal before Sundays was on the last Saturday of last season in that 4-3 thriller that kept Oldham up against Southampton, so he picks his times quite well. Wynn puts it out. Oldham voices you're hearing here, it's their part of the ground in terms of the support. Make it. Who was trying to head it down then was little Nick Henry in the Graham Sharp position.
It's a pity he couldn't do anything on that because both Sharp and Beckford had peeled away for the header down.
Well, Oldham anger from Holden in particular and Beckford, who were trying very hard to keep onside then and thought they'd done it. Bruce. Kanchelskis. Robson. Came off the head of Poynton. Robson tries again. Parker. Corner conceded by Fleming.
I think that's part of the reason Ryan Giggs has been in the game so little, Mark, is that right side has been so fruitful for them going forward. Rick Holden offers them some defensive possibilities on this near side, and perhaps that's why Ryan Giggs isn't seeing as much of the ball as Paul Parker and Andrew Kanchelskis.
Giggs with an involvement and taking the corners from the right with his left foot. Oh, Horworth missed it! Robson! The net was vacant and it's 3-1. Horworth absolutely devastated by it. Robson thrilled, and so are those on the Manchester United bench.
Well, it's Robson of all. Look at the goalkeeper. Into no man's land, gets nowhere near it. And there's an example. You don't have to get a nice crisp volley, you don't have to get a nice crisp header. Just get anything you want on it. You can't get by Mark Hughes. He stands his ground. He's entitled to do that. Watch it closely. Hughes, the goalkeeper comes out. Hughes stands his ground. He gets nowhere near it. And that's a present. That's all you can say.
Well, it virtually hit him and went in. And here's Robson. Andy, you made the point that it's the formation that Alec Ferguson used right at the start of the season at Norwich, the first Premiership game. Robson scored in that game. He scored here tonight, but John Holworth knows that he was guilty of misjudgment. And Oldham may pay a heavy price for that.
It's funny, Martin, I remember Joe Royal was our guest at Sheffield United recently. We talked about the goal went in on the post from a corner, and there was no one on that post, and that was Martin, how I'm amazed these days how many managers don't put players on both posts. Joe said he was one who felt not enough goals went in those areas from corners in the season to warrant a man on both posts, and it was noticeable there that they didn't have anyone on that back post. And perhaps if they had, then he might have done something with this, because as you see, Robbo doesn't get an awful lot on it, and perhaps someone on the other post may have got something on it.
You could see one or two Oldham players appealing that Robson put that in with his hand, but I think that replay showed quite clearly that his arms were out of the way. And Joe Royal now with a more resigned expression, and Manchester United are back in full cry. Keane. Irwin. side that await the winners tonight. Chelsea are a goal down to Les Ferdinand at Loftus Road tonight. Bit of joy at last for Queen's Park Rangers, who had troubled times with the fans not happy with the chairman, Richard Thompson.
Well, it was going to be tough enough at 2-1 after 45 minutes, Mark, but you just feel that the job on now might be beyond Oldham.
Parker. Sharp couldn't control, which is unlike him. Milligan. It's and Kanchelskis. It's setting off. Kanchelskis uses him. And back heel finds its mark as well. Kanchelskis. It runs on for Ryan Giggs, not a great angle. Polworth might have stopped it, but we'll never know because Richard Jobson did.
Well, when they're confident and they're flowing, Martin, they really are a sight to behold, aren't they? Manchester United, wonderful team play. Look at this for cheek from Paul Ince. Back heel, straight into Kanchelskis' path. I think they're forcing him across again. Out to Giggs. I tell you what, this might have just nestled in the bottom corner.
Well, it was Pallister who made the first contact, and Hughes was trying to make the second.
They hardly had a body in the box. There's hardly a red shirt in for a knockdown. About two, I think Mark Hughes was about the only one, apart from Pallister, in and around the 6-yard box.
Vector. Michael after scurrying, and then he just knock it to one of the nearer points on the touchline, out for a throw. Quick free kick. Giggs, found by Kanchelskis. Ryan Giggs going his own way, gets a second chance. 4-1.
Well, you feel for the defender, don't you? If things aren't bad enough, breaks aren't going your way. He thinks he's done his job. He blocks the first shot, and what happens? Jobson comes across, he thinks, I'll hold him up, I've done the job. But no, Giggs was alive and alert. And it really is all over for Oldham now.
Manchester United can make their plans for May the 14th. Drilled in by Giggs, who certainly made the very most of the second opportunity. Here goes Poynton.
It was almost drilled in with a bit of anger, as if to say, well, I haven't had a lot of the ball this half or this game, so I'm going to just hammer this one in, drilled it in.
Well, it was such a stalemate at Wembley on Sunday. The two goals coming at the beginning and the end of the second period of extra time. A very different tale to tell here at Main Road. And a very happy tale for Manchester United now. Not without a twist or two along the way. Kanchelskis. For Hughes. And you just fear the moment for Oldham Athletic as to how this might end up. Alec Ferguson applauding Roy Keane as he comes off. It's a change made because Keane has picked up an injury. Brian McClare comes on to take his place. And here comes a double change for Joe Royle. Well, some of the feeling, the ill feeling from the first match is surfacing there, but Martin Bodnam wasn't far away. Steve Redmond and Andy Ritchie for Neil Poynton, who's done his bit, and Darren Beckford, who might feel in years to come that he could have contributed more in the two semi-final matches of 1994 he was involved in. Ritchie, of course, has played in semi-finals down the years. For Oldham 4 years ago, for Manchester United back in 1979, and then 1987 for Leeds United. He's never played in an FA Cup final, and unless he hits a hat-trick, I don't think he's got much chance of improving on that Surrey record. Kanchelskis. Hughes. Here's Ince. 4 goals, 4 different scorers. And plenty of signs that Manchester United have rediscovered what they had for week after week through so much of the season. It's a measure of real superiority over whoever they're playing. Blackburn Rovers are making this display. Maybe they'll feel that some energy spent tonight will not be there when the Premiership battle is renewed at the weekend. Remember, we will see Manchester United's next league game live. Here's Henry. Andy Ritchie has to turn and check. Sharp in the centre, Milligan there as well, cleared by Pallister. Maker. Inside the final 20 minutes. Giggs. United happy to defend deep, knowing they can draw Oldham on and hit on the break, but they've got to do the defending first. Henry. And a slice by Irwin. Comes for Ritchie. So coming up for you on Sky Television at the weekend, Manchester United's match at Selhurst Park against Wimbledon on Sky 1. We start at 4:30, that's live. On our Super Sunday, also on Sky 1, we switch to Elland Road. Leeds still looking for possible European qualification. Tottenham looking to get enough points to stay in the Premiership. A lot riding on that game as well. Ritchie. Oh, it comes off the head of Fleming. And Kanchelskis, Hallworth started to come. Kanchelskis actually touched the ball too strongly. Allowed Jobson to tidy up. Hughes.
Back in total control, aren't we? We talked about expending energy, and would Alex Ferguson be concerned about that? I think not tonight, Martin. I think what he's got now, he can take his team back into his league programme in a far better frame of mind than perhaps off a bad performance. And this has been a very good performance. I mean, look at the possession they've enjoyed. That says it all. They played very well tonight. I thought they were up for it. Said it right at the beginning of the match. They looked up for it and ready for it. We wondered whether they'd taken their foot off the gas at 2-0 and allowed Oldham into the game, and whether they could pick it up again. Well, they certainly have been able to pick it up again in this second half.
Yes, they found the right pedal and pressed it.
You know, all Oldham can simply do now is keep going forward and hope for a miracle. And when they do that, they're going to risk getting caught at the back with this phenomenal pace that Manchester United have.
well. The crowd just under 4,000 short of capacity, and it's short in support for Oldham Athletic. They didn't sell their full allocation. Hughes got the run against Redmond. Diggs. Offside. Wilson just rolled it through for Hughes. And Mark Hughes, with Premiership battles ahead in mind, comes off not a scorer tonight, but he was the man that made tonight possible, with one of the ultimate rescuing goals when Oldham were on the verge of a famous victory.
What that substitution tells you is that Alec Ferguson feels the game is won. Well won. Because he's taken Hughes off simply to protect him. The two games against Fleming and Jobson, he really has had to battle physically extremely hard. And that's his little reward. 15 minutes to sit with his manager and the other people from Manchester United and enjoy it.
Well, I must say, with one or two more chances likely to come, there'll be plenty of forwards who wouldn't like to be taken off in those circumstances, but maybe that's being too personal rather than too professional. Oldham. Make it. Leclerc. This is where Manchester United make hay so often. Not quite the extreme pace in the attack this time. More measured, and it allowed Oldham to recover in the shape of Jobson. Lee Sharp missed out on the cup final 4 years ago. He'd been in the side earlier in that particular season. So he will want to make an impression over the next couple of weeks, and it's another incentive, of course, Ferguson might be able to use to Manchester United's advantage. Who's going to start the game against Chelsea on May the 14th? Against Chelsea. We've beaten them twice.
Well, they'd rather face Manchester United than Oldham, who've beaten Chelsea twice.
That's what Glenn Huddle was saying, or certainly implying. Oldham. Old arrogance back with Manchester United, with the exception of that spell either side of half-time. And Oldham had a shout. Giggs against Redmond. He did very well not to be totally deceived there. The substitute, who hasn't been attuned to the pace of the battle for very long.
He did, Martin, but you know, from this minute there when he's turned Redmond inside, if he'd have looked the other way and a simple pass across to Kanchelskis, who was miles free on the other side. Let the 4-1 up, he's got the ball. Why shouldn't he keep a hold of it?
Bruce, very much outnumbered.
Well, that's it. Again, they haven't put many people in, have they? Not many red shirts in the box. Well, there's Bruce, 2. Within about 12 yards, and that's it. So they're quite happy.
Just filling in behind Parker. The captain of Chelsea, Dennis Wise, has equalised at Loftus Road. Drops here for Redmond. He knows the geometry of this particular pitch very well. A real Manchester City product. And actually, I believe, was signed as a striker, but his shot then was skied away into this impressive Umbro stand. Well, overall, Andy, as good as we've seen from Manchester United for some time.
Yes, without a doubt. without a doubt. Whatever's been said between Sunday and now has certainly worked for them. But I do think team selection has played a huge part in that. The return of Brian Robson into that central midfield area, along with Ince and Keane, and the formation was a masterstroke. And they were 2-0 up before Joe Royle could do anything about it.
I do believe Alex Ferguson thought he was going to lose him. The talk of the Wolves job. Attraction for a man who's given so much as a player and will surely continue his career sooner rather than later in management. Already recruited to the England coaching staff. Get together coming up next week. And the scorer tonight.
Why do you not sound surprised when you utter those words, Robson, a scorer tonight?
Well, he's reined it in a bit, hasn't he, in the last couple of years, but getting goals from midfield, he's set very high standards for club and for country. Oldham. Now Andy Ritchie, once of Manchester United a long time ago. Rather impulsively left when he thought he wasn't going to get enough opportunity early in his career. He's 33 now. But at last the game has just died a little bit. It's been much more in keeping with the character of previous meetings between Manchester United and Oldham. The goals have flowed regularly, but Joe Royle wasn't expecting a goal feast at Wembley. He knew that his players had the discipline and the attitude to give Manchester United a run for their money. But the pain that they felt inside the final minute of extra time there when Mark Hughes met the ball with that fearsome right foot. And even John Hallworth, who played well in that game, could do nothing about it. Well, that's just going to be emphasised now, as history will record. That was as near as Oldham came. Unusual experience for Graham Sharp, being a loser in an FA Cup semi-final.
People will talk about this game perhaps and suggest where it was won and lost, Martin, but look, I just think that Manchester United won this semi-final and Oldham lost it in the last 30 seconds at Wembley.
Oldham United step up. Oldham makes them go back. Alistair still gets there. Oldham running in.
The only reason it's died a little, Mark, as well, is, and I think both sides now realise the game's over.
It's picked up again here with Brian McClare. Holden. Parker just getting in front of Sharp. Once again, just pulling away. He's made a career out of doing that. To take a yard off defenders. Henry dragged it. Well, I agree totally with what you're saying, Andy, about the events of extra time on Sunday. But here tonight, Joe Royle and his players came in for half-time with renewed hope. And it looked as though United, who had started with such style and such scoring power, 2 early goals, were going to make this replay very straightforward. And then it was going to be the first goal of the second half that was going to determine what happened here. Brian Robson got it untidy from Oldham's point of view, conceding from the set piece with the goalkeeper misjudging. And United able to dictate terms now. Bernard. Henry. Brought away by McClare. Bruce. Almost caught by Andy Ritchie. Bruce getting a flea in his ear from Gary Pallister. They like to have a rant and a rave at each other, the Manchester United back line. Keeps the adrenaline flowing.
Keeps them on their toes.
But certainly the football has been flowing here. As United hope it will in the half a dozen remaining matches for them in the Premiership. Ritchie. Free kick to Oldham. Milligan. Now Bernard. Ritchie lets it run. Holden. Shoulder to shoulder with Dennis Irwin. Well, Irwin, who took the policy 4 years ago, if you can't beat him, join him.
Just puffs out his chest there, doesn't he? Just catches him off balance.
McClare has got it wide to Parker, who's only ever scored once for Manchester United. And his cross, he wasn't looking to score this time. We found McClare offside. Paul Parker's goal came late in a typical United romp against Tottenham last season. Bernard. Well, all the talk that's gone away now, of course, of Manchester United looking for a treble this season. Now we have Chelsea looking for a treble of victories over United in the FA Cup final. Pallister. Robson there when required. He's gone the distance well. Parker, Kanchelskis, the thoroughbred. Such a great athlete. And he whips it across the face of the goal and couldn't find either Sharp or Giggs.
Unfortunately, Sharp and Giggs, they almost occupy the same spot. Look, both of them go near post. And it's a smashing ball from Kanchelskis. The type of ball that just needs anybody touching it. Not just a forward or a red shirt, but any blue shirt sticking out a leg there. We'll be scoring an own goal. Teams normally have a lull in the season, Martin, and you can't always play 100% for as many games as you're asked to if you're performing at top now. Perhaps United have had their bad spell. Certainly tonight it looks as though any hangovers they may have been suffering for any reason are well and truly over with.
Looking ahead, I wonder how Wimbledon will set out their stall against them on Saturday night. You'll see it live, of course, on Sky 1. You and I have been taken to task by some of the Wimbledon players who felt we were too fulsome in our praise for Manchester United when they met in the 5th round of the Cup. United, of course, put on what we felt and many others was a display of great quality.
Well, I can only say if Wimbledon do the business on Saturday, I'll be very, very complimentary to them. It's as simple as that. They were brilliant that day, Manchester United. But Wimbledon will certainly have something to say on Saturday, that's for sure.
Oldham, to carry on the metaphor of being lost for words here. In significant spells of the game, Manchester United have showed superiority. It's a cherry to go on the icing on the cake. Here's Kanchelskis. He's a lovely character, Andrei Kanchelskis. He's very popular with the United players. His English has improved. He's invariably got a smile on his face, and he's had plenty more to smile about this season when he's been used more often by Alec Ferguson. And as you said earlier, Andy, I think he's one of the first names on the team sheet now.
Well, he's been rewarded for a very consistent season. Very profitable, not just with his goals, but what he's contributed.
Sharp. So he got a sprint in here. Cross came Redmond. He didn't play at Wembley because of suspension. Well, Manchester United have made the most of the second chance. Ritchie. Still, well, few would have begrudged Oldham another notch on the scoreline.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. They've kept at it, although they must be bitterly disappointed, Martin, from, what, 20 minutes ago. They've kept going, they've kept plugging away. But when it mattered most, they've just been found wanting.
It's a Manchester United-Chelsea FA Cup final. All credit to Alec Ferguson for his team selection. He plumped for Brian Robson, who scored a critical third goal in this 4-1 win. United started so well. Andrei Kanchelskis also back in the side tonight after suspension, with a terrific goal and an all-round terrific performance. Dennis Irwin got the first, Ryan Giggs the fourth, firing home to rub salt in Oldham's deepening wounds. John Hallworth will feel the pain of the way that third goal for United tonight went in. But really, United perhaps shouldn't have been given the second chance. That's what Oldham will think. The closest of shaves for them on Sunday. Oldham, ever haunted now by that Mark Hughes equaliser at Wembley, unable to make club history. A great deal of sympathy around the country, I'm sure, for Joe Royle and his players, who now have to turn their minds back to preserving a place in the Premiership. Alec Ferguson extending his 100% record in all his semi-finals as manager of Manchester United. Andy, they've looked the business tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have. I couldn't agree more with that. They have looked the business. And that would probably worry Blackburn Rovers more than anything. Bang at it from the word go.
Well, Oldham worked United so hard at Wembley, and at times again tonight when they got their goal and at the start of the second half. But this semi-final, like the first, has finally gone to form. 4-1 to Manchester United.